Hi, I'm Euge Valovirta, and on this one I'm gonna show you how I use Toontrack's fantastic Superior Drummer 3. Okay, so here we are on the screen. This session is a song called Pasadena 78 from my solo album. And on that album I used this Superior Drummer. I programmed the drums and obviously used many beats that are included here. So this is really cool. It's like working with real drums. This is my custom set that I built. As you can see, there's several drums and stuff. And there's lots of grooves. I have a couple of add-on packs, libraries. Probably my favorite is the Metal Machine. It's played by John Tempesta, and it sounds absolutely fantastic. I really like his playing style. He's hard-hitting drummer. And what is cool, because if I take some other guy like Dirk Verburen, fantastic drummer too, but he's the same beat, if it's played by him or similar beat, it sounds a little bit different, although the drums are same. So this is really genius program. I can't imagine how many hours they have Toontrack has spent creating this. And there's lots of libraries. You can buy the Rock Foundry's Bob Rock's library. Bob Rock recorded, made his kits and stuff. But I'm gonna stick with the Superior, the basic library, which I actually use most. And this kit is based on that. So let's just play the song a little bit, and you can hear. Oh yeah, one thing I need to do, because I'm using SonarWorks, like this calibration system. So I have calibrated the speakers, my room, everything, so the sound is really accurate and flat. But since you're not watching and listening to this in my room, I need to disable this. It will sound quite different to me here, a little bit boomy and everything, but I will survive. So okay, so now that is bypassed and the sound completely changed. I mean, I have acoustic panels and everything here I've measured, but it's strong recommendation for that SonarWorks if you want to really clearly hear what you're doing and you want to trust your speakers. I mean, my Genelecs, they're really great speakers, but you know how it is. I've also calibrated my headphones and Sennheisers, so I will survive without it. So where were we? Okay, and I will do one thing before we continue, because the way I mix is that I mix into two plugins, devices. I mix into Softube's emulation of TubeTech, classic Pultec EQ. So I have their bass boost and I have attenuated it. It's Pultec trick, a little bit high-end boost. It just makes, I just like to mix into this. It doesn't really change any of the sounds, drum sounds, guitar. It just adds this kind of like loudness knob on stereos. So I mix into this, and then I also mix into Wave's SSL compressor. So let me disable this. As you hear, it just, you know, does wonders. It glues the song nicely. Kind of enhances everything. And then I also have a CLA's Epic plugin on drums, a little bit of room actually a little bit tape delay, just a tiny amount, and played reverb. And Softube's tape, just to, tape does this nice saturation kind of thing. So let's bypass these two. And now what we have is a Superior Drummer 3. This is awesome. Other features, you can drag real drums here. It will change them to MIDI, and then you can shape them and add these, Superior Drummer effects if you want. But yeah, that's also a cool feature. So this is my own mix kind of setup. There's lots of like ready-made kits. Let's take this Man of Sand, kind of like just an example. So there's lots of cool kits and presets made by legendary, let's say Bob Rock's Rock Kit 1. It loads. So this program is pretty hefty sized. It's, I don't know, like 300 gigabytes or something. Quite filthy sounding, but let's stick to what I have a couple of different. I actually used this kit, which was based on the Man of Sand kit on the album, but I just made this because I really like this too. Okay, cool. And then the mixer. This is kind of like your DAW inside a DAW. How would you mix like real drums? So what I have going on there, there's kick and there's kick subs and there's toms. I've EQ'd them a bit. Basically, I've carried out some boominess mids on these. I think the EQ on the first rack toms are the same. And then on the floor toms, again, I carried a little bit of that boominess and added some height, so it's really like a this is the kick, just the normal kick, and then with the samples added. It's awesome. And then what I've done, a little bit EQing on the ambience mics, and then these are like the bus groups. So all these kicks come into this kick bus group, where I have a little bit of I think this is a like Neve EQ, looks like, because it's only 4 low bands and so on. So basically little bit boost on the 60, tiny amount of on the 10K to get that snappy thing going on, and then I boosted the 2000 Hertz 2K to get that thump attack. So let's listen now, and if I take that off, well, yeah, there's not that much difference now, but it adds this like a chest kind of thump feeling. And then snare, well, there's EQ, couple of one compressor, yeah, basic EQ, a little bit compressing on toms and stuff. And then they all go to this comp channel, which I actually had I think this is a Fairchild, but I took it off because I was like, usually less is more. And what I have there is this transient, so it's kind of like punch. So it just makes the drums a little bit punchier. And then I have nothing on the bass here. You could add, like, let's take this Man of Sand kit. Well, I have there Comp 76, which is like 1176 compressor. But how I like to do this, I like to keep this kit, let's say this Tempesta. So what the compressors do is, basically adjust a little bit punch and evens it out. But I try not to use that. Like I try to get the sound without any compression and anything. And then if, and usually when needed a little bit help, I'll add some compression and stuff. So this is basically the kit I use. This isn't the same kit I used on the album. Like I said, I use a little bit different kit, but this is what I use now, because this is kind of remix of the song. Okay, so fantastic. And then there's a grid editor, so you can edit your drums here, move if you have a drum beat but you want to have the kick in another place or different kind of feel, you can write it here and then the program will play it. But the way I use it, I use Cubase's own editor. It's pretty much the same, but the reason is because I've been using this when I used Addictive Drums too. It's already good, quite much cheaper, totally fine, but this is like on another level. This is like, it's really hard to tell if are these real drums or not. And well, basically they are, because they have recorded these in the most famous, best studios, played by the best drummers, engineered by, Bob Rock, Randy Staub, whatnot. And what I have here, I have basically mapped everything. So I have different drums, different hi-hat hits, you name it. So I can edit everything here. And as you can see, all the hits, they aren't on the grid. Because human is human, human is not a machine. If everything would be on the grid, it would sound like a machine, unnatural. I like the feeling that it's actually, real drummer. And then what I have also, I have this kind of thing which kind of mixes everything. Well, let's say I put this and then I add this, it kind of mixes, it makes it even more like human, this lick. Like it's not, nothing is on the grid now. It's just like, real drummer will do. So this is one I made myself. So it's kind of like this, I don't know, algorithm. It just randomly changes the velocity and the placement on the grid. But yeah, I like to use this, but if you don't have Cubase, you could use the Superior Drummer's editor. It's pretty much the same. So this is like, it's awesome. And what I really like, if you're not familiar, how to mix drums, compress drums, what things means, this is really good, like a platform for study. Let's say, let's take Bob Rock's heavy rock kit. As you can see, there's not that much going on. And then you can kind of check these out. Okay, this sounds like that. Why it sounds like that? What kind of, because this preset is made by Bob Rock. What kind of EQ he has used? As you can see, a little bit of mid cut. What he has on toms, well, pretty much the same than me, because it's quite usual. You cut the mids to get rid of the boxiness, add some high shine there to get the attack. Here's more EQ. Oh, he's boosted like 220. So this is really good to study. I've actually studied and learned a lot by analyzing these presets that, like let's say Mark Lewis Yamaha kit. Here you can see how he has EQ'd, how he has compressed. And you can, get ideas and tips for doing your own. And what I did, I created my own, or several my own kits. So this is kind of what I've been using lately. So this is really good software, not only sound-wise, feature-wise, but to really study drum recording and drum mixing. I really love this, and I have learned a lot from this. A strong recommendation. Like I said, you kind of need to have a, powerful computer for this to run, and I think I have like 300 or 400 gigabytes of beats and stuff, but man, it's worth it. So yeah, Superior Drummer, stronger recommendation. And how do I design these drum kits? For, well, basically two ways. Many times when I write songs, I just have these, let's say, grooves. Take tom off. Usually I jam with jam track with John Tempesta. And then I just come up with guitar parts and riffs like you will do on the rehearsal place. At least what we did when we were kids. Go to rehearsal place and jam. And then, until we knew we had a song. So I do this a lot. I jam with, just find, okay, what kind of beat is this? Then I come up with stuff really fast. Or another way how I do it, I record if I have a riff, my guitar riff. Then I usually use my keyboard, don't know if you can see it, just to play a really simple drum beat. And then I record it here, and then I drag it here on this MIDI drop zone. And then it suggests me beats that are as close as possible. Let's clear all, but you can do it like this. Tap to find. Then it shows me the results. Half-time song, 100%. This is what I do a lot. If I have a certain beat in mind, I either play it with the MIDI keyboard or then just tap on this tap to find thing. Absolutely fantastic. And depending how big is your beat library, well, it suggests me like, well, lots of different beats where to choose from. And then I drag them to here and open the editor and do the needed changes if there are any. Absolutely fantastic. Okay, while we're at it, let's check out the mix, like how I mix this. This isn't the version that's been released, but it's really close. Basically, the only thing I've changed are the different drum set. So let me play this. Like I said, I didn't have anything on the drum bus in the Superior Drummer, but what I do have is I have this fantastic Softube Console 1 fader and just the Console 1. And I have here SSL's legendary mixing desk, the channel strip. They've emulated that. They've emulated also Neve and American Classic A. I think that's like API desk. But I really love this SSL. So what I have here, when the drive is at 5, it's the actual character of good old analog SSL desk. So it adds just this magic. Kind of blues it together a little bit. And then what I have here is FET compressor, which is Softube's emulation version of a classic 1176 compressor. It looks like this. It's totally different than how the original compressor looks, but it does the same job. It's that compressor. There's these ratios, all attacks low, fast. It's yeah, but I'm not using this. This was just an example to show you, because what I use it, the FET compressor, you can also download it to this channel strip, which is fantastic. And then I have just EQ'd a little bit. It's basically like 1 to 2 or 3 dB of compression and kind of parallel. It's not completely wet, but it's a little bit of the original sound. I really like the 1176 FET compressor on the drum bus. And as you probably noticed, I have the 1176 on toms and, well, on toms. There's a couple of these classic compressors and the transient thing, and then on the drum bus here nothing. And then it goes to this drum bus where I have the Softube's tape, Chris Lord Alge's Epic, which I use on guitars and stuff. Okay, so yeah, a little bit about the mixing of this track. So this is basically my template. I always use the same template for recording and mixing. I have 3 effect auxes. On one I have a SPX 90 Symphonic, which I actually use on bass a lot. Then I have a pitch shifter, which I use a lot on leads. And then I have a studio reverb here, Softube's Char 1. And here are the kind of like the volume knobs. So I can control these also via here. There's like three cents, and then I can, but for this sake, because you're seeing the screen, I'm using my mouse. Usually I do everything with these consoles, because I just love that I don't have to look the screen, that I can close my eyes and tweak the knobs, like I dial a guitar sound, and just trust my ears, and like old school way. It's not how it looks, it's how it sounds. So let's take the bass, for example, bass and drums. So the symphonic, because it's aux, it's 100% here. As you can see, 666 Hertz, depth 100, mix 100. But then I can blend it in with this, because it's like on the effect, send and return aux bus, whatever it's called, So and what I have going on bass is basically, what you do, you record a DI and distorted sound. What here's I can do everything in an amp room. So here's the DI sound. It's 151 frequencies below. So the low end goes to this DI, and this is a limiter. It's kind of like the FET compressor, the simplified version. Then it goes here. Then above 150 Hertz goes to this, which is so that's the bass. And why these 2 channels? Well, there's a reason. It's kind of like my pull tech trick thing, but with the bass. So when I record bass, here is BCA equalizer, which is basically a Neve, British Class A. So what I did is I boosted the Scheiße out of the low end, which is like, it's a bit crazy, but it sounds good. If it sounds good, it's good. And then the signal from this channel goes to this channel, where I have SSL EQ, and there I cut it the low end. But as you can see, what happens when I cut here and boost here in the around 100 Hertz, it leaves this really nice, so the bass sounds really fat. And then I boosted it again a lot of 8K. Because the bass sound when I play alone, it sounds great, I don't have to do anything. But in the mix, for me to be able to get it heard, you know, I found out that sometimes I even boost more, but usually 8K and then a little bit around 4-5K. That does the trick. And then I have there just a little bit of SSL Channel Chip's own compressor. Cool. What I have going on in the guitars? Nothing except low cut and a little bit of high cut. And actually, yeah, I have boosted a little bit of 8K. And on the where these guitars go in, there's only the SSL drive, and this is the rhythm guitar bus. Now there's solo. So that's it. And the guitar I used on this song, it was this ESP Phoenix, straight into Marshall JCM 800. Bad boy. No overdrives, nothing. Just crank the master and, you know, that's it. 800, no post EQ except low and high cuts, and, you know, keeping it simple. On the solo, let's actually see here. Yeah, on the solo there was SD, on the verse lead, nada. Okay, so on the verse lead I didn't even have the SD. And the rhythm guitars, just the 800. Cool. So, yeah. And on these melody verse guitars, I have also the Epic, but it's not the stereo delay, because as you heard on the lead, it was kind of like this, but this is... Yeah, so that's it. Quite simple, couple of plugins, and it's all about my philosophy is that when you record something that is good from the get-go, like, you know, good guitar, needs a good amp, and if the playing doesn't suck, that's always a bonus. So hey, hopefully you found this interesting. I put some links in the description below if you want to check out the Superior Drummer or Softube plugins or a couple of those Waves plugins. And yeah, the guitars I recorded, I used the reactive load, not the Soundtrack, but the reactive load. And the IR I used on all guitars was my signature IR called Valovirta from Jens Bogren's Lead and Clean Pack. Hey, thanks for watching. You know the drill if you liked it and maybe want to subscribe my channel for more guitar and music related videos. All the best, take care, bye.